Hello, my name's Brad Ladwig, and in this video I'm explaining why I'm going on strike over my pension. Firstly, a little bit about academic staff and academic pensions. Academic staff work really hard to get a job at a British university. Usually they've done their PhD, they've done some postdoctoral research, they've worked very hard to even get the foot in the door to begin as a lecturer, when they often are in their early 30s and just starting out. And when they are appointed, when they take on that job, they accept a reasonable salary. You know, we get paid to do this work. We're not low paid workers, but it's much less than many of us would work in industry. So when I consider my graduating class, I graduated back in 2001. I was in the top handful of students academically in my class. You'd expect that. I went on to become an academic. And those other people that I graduated with have gone on to have really impressive and amazing jobs. So, for example, one's a global oil trader in Singapore, another one's working in a large gas company. There's one of the female students in my class is vice president of a big strategic consulting company in Singapore. Another female student from my class is the manager of a refinery, which is a huge level of responsibility, looking after a multi-billion-pound asset. And myself, I'm a senior lecturer at a top university in the UK. So you look at all of those different things, you say, okay, great jobs. What do they get paid? Well, my classmates that graduated in the top of the class back in 2001 now earn very substantial salaries. They earn 100, 150, some of them over £200,000 a year. In contrast, as a senior lecturer at a really top university, I earn about a third or a quarter of that. But that's okay. Academic staff don't do this job to make a lot of money. Academic staff do this job because they love the job. They love the work that they do. The things that we do in our research is really important. We're helping to change the world and make it a better place. And even more importantly than our research is that we teach the next generation of young people who will absolutely transform the world. We equip them with the skills and knowledge and abilities to have amazing careers with real impact. That's important stuff, and we love doing that stuff. But when we take on this job, we know that we're not going to get a great salary, but what we are promised is a generous pension, a pension that's guaranteed, that we know we can rely on in retirement. It's a trade-off that we make when we take this job. We accept lower salaries now. We accept salaries that are much less than we would earn in industry because we're promised that we will receive a generous pension in retirement. To illustrate that, you can see a graph like this. You can say, okay, we've got the industry salary, we've got the academic salary. The academic salary is much lower, but then when they get paid their pension, when we receive our pension, it is a higher fraction, it's a higher proportion of our salary than, for example, someone in industry. So that's a way of compensating us. It's a balance between what we receive now and what we receive in retirement. But that pension is being cut. The current pension system is a hybrid system. The employer takes some of the risk, that's in the defined benefit component, and the employee shares some of the risk in the defined contribution model. The way that our employers are asking to change that is say, we'll get rid of the defined benefit component completely. We won't carry any of the risk anymore. We'll put all of that on you as employees, and the result is that we will receive much lower pensions. They are estimated to be between 20 and 40% lower. That translates to a cut of perhaps £10,000 a year in retirement for a lecturer, or over the lifetime of their retirement, a cut of up to £200,000. So I asked myself, am I happy that my employer takes £200,000 from me that I would have received in retirement? Is that money that I would have liked to, for example, help support my own children to go to university? I spend all of this effort, all of this time and energy helping to educate other people's children. Maybe I would like to use some of that money to help my own kids to go to university. Or maybe I would like to help them onto the property ladder. Maybe I'd like to help them save for a first deposit when I'm retired. Yeah, there are many things that I can think of that I could spend £200,000 on, but would I like to have it taken away from my pension by my employer? No thanks. And finally, how is it right that British universities that now have some of the highest tuition fees of any universities in the world, and who pay their senior management and vice-chancellors extremely high salaries, the highest that they've ever been in the history of British higher education, how it is that in that situation they find the need to cut our pensions by between 20 and 40%. I simply cannot accept that. Sadly, by striking, this will have a significant impact on students. Lectures will be cancelled and they will not be rescheduled. Workshops will not be held. Seminars will be cancelled. Labs will be locked. Students will miss out on part of their education as a result of this strike. And those students have every right to feel aggrieved. They should be angry and they should be asking their universities, how is it that we pay so much in fees? How is it then that you can't pay the pensions of our lecturers? How is it that with us paying more tuition fees than we've ever paid before, you can't guarantee the pensions of our lecturers? They should ask that question. Should ask their parents to ask that question. They should ask their sponsors to ask that question and say, where is the money going if it's not going towards the pensions of our academics? Cutting our pensions is absolutely drastic, and most of all, it's going to impact on young staff like me. Older staff who are near retirement, they will retire, they will get almost the full pension they were going to get anyway. But young staff like me, I have 30 more years to pay into the pension scheme. We are the ones who are going to see the biggest reduction in our pensions. We are the ones living in this environment where currently house prices and the cost of living is the highest that it's ever been. It is harder and harder to get ahead as a young person, as a young professional, and then to have something like this happen for our employers to say, we're going to cut your pension by 20 to 40%. We're going to take £200,000 that you would have received in your pension and not give it to you. I simply cannot accept that. That's why I'm going on strike. If you're an academic at another British university, I urge you to support our strikes. Join the union and go out in solidarity with us. If you're not a member of the union, if you're not going on strike, at least stand in solidarity with your colleagues. Don't do the work that they were going to do. Don't make it easy for your employer. Contact your head of department, contact your Vice-Chancellor and let them know that even though you're not going on strike, you do not support these drastic cuts to our pension, because it is absolutely unfair. My name's Brad Ladwig and I'm going on strike.